Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a moment to talk about choices. Life is full of them, big and small, and every single one of them shapes the road ahead. But here's the truth. Too many of us are chasing after things that aren't chasing us back. Too many of us are pouring our time, our energy, and our love into people, situations, or dreams that don't see our worth. That has to stop. You see, there's power in knowing where you belong. There's strength in recognizing what's meant for you. But when you choose what's not choosing you, you betray yourself. You step out of alignment with your purpose, and you waste the most precious resource you have, your time. Think about it. Have you ever knocked on a door that never opened? Have you ever stood in a room trying to prove you deserve to be there while everyone else acted like you were invisible? Let me tell you something. Your time is far too valuable for that. Your energy is far too sacred for that. We all want to be loved. We all want to be chosen. But understand this. If someone or something doesn't see your value, that's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. You don't need to shrink to fit into places you've outgrown. You don't need to beg for acceptance where it's not freely given. Here's what I want you to do. Start choosing yourself. Start investing in what invests in you. Start giving to what gives back. Because when you align yourself with what's meant for you, doors start opening. Opportunities start appearing. The right people, the right paths. They will find you. But first, you have to let go of what isn't serving you. You have to let go of the weight that's holding you down. It might hurt at first. It might feel like loss. But trust me, it's not loss. It's freedom. Freedom to step into the life you deserve. So the next time you feel like you have to beg for attention, for love, or for respect, I want you to stop. Stop and remember who you are. Remember what you're worth. And choose better. Choose wiser. Choose you. Because when you start choosing yourself, you'll find that the things truly meant for you will choose you back every single time. Stop wasting time on what doesn't value you. Your time and energy are precious. Don't spend them chasing people or opportunities that don't recognize your worth. Self-worth is non-negotiable. Your value isn't determined by others' recognition. It's about how you see and treat yourself. Let go of what's not serving you. Holding on to unfulfilling situations or relationships only holds you back. Letting go is not loss, it's freedom. Choose what aligns with you. Focus on people and opportunities that invest in you, reciprocate your energy, and align with your purpose. Self-respect attracts the right things. When you prioritize yourself, the right people and opportunities will naturally come into your life. Choosing yourself is empowerment. Start making decisions that honor your value and watch how your life transforms for the better. Your time and energy are among the most valuable assets you have in this life. They are finite, irreplaceable, and deserve to be spent wisely. Yet too often people find themselves pouring these resources into pursuits, relationships, and environments that fail to reciprocate or appreciate their worth. It's a hard truth to face, but the reality is simple. Not everything or everyone you chase is meant to be part of your journey. And the sooner you stop wasting time on what doesn't value you, the sooner you can redirect that energy to things that do. When you chase after what doesn't value you, you place yourself in a cycle of frustration and disappointment. Picture yourself knocking on a locked door, over and over, hoping it will open. The effort drains you, the waiting discourages you. And even if the door does open one day, it's often not because it recognized your worth. It's because it was convenient for it to finally let you in. So do you want to be an afterthought, a last resort, or an option someone considers when they've exhausted all others? You are worth so much more than that. Yet, the longer you keep chasing, the harder it becomes to see your value. Look, there's a psychological cost to investing your energy in things that don't value you. Every unreturned effort chips away at your confidence. Every unanswered call, every unreciprocated gesture, every ignored opportunity. It all sends a message whether you realize it or not. The message is, you're not enough. And while that message is false, the repetition of it can start to make you believe it. But here's the truth. The problem isn't you. The problem is where you're focusing your energy. What we often forget is that time spent on the wrong things is time taken away from the right ones. Every moment you waste trying to convince someone to see your worth is a moment you could have used to build a deeper connection with someone who already does. Every opportunity you chase that doesn't align with your values or goals pulls you further from the opportunities that do. Life is a series of choices, and your time is the currency. Spend it wisely, because once it's gone, you can never get it back. Recognizing when something doesn't value you is a skill that takes courage. It requires honesty with yourself and a willingness to face hard truths. Sometimes it's a job that keeps piling on tasks without acknowledgement. Sometimes it's a friendship or relationship where you give and give, yet receive nothing in return. Whatever it is, you have to be willing to step back and evaluate. Is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? Does this align with who I am and where I want to go? Once you recognize what doesn't value you, the next step is letting go. This isn't easy. Humans are wired to seek connection, approval, and a sense of belonging. Walking away can feel like failure. It can feel like rejection. But the truth is, walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. It's you reclaiming your time and energy, refusing to let them be drained by something that doesn't deserve them. The beauty of this process is what happens next. When you stop chasing what doesn't value you, create space for what does. You open up time and energy to focus on pursuits that align with your purpose. You make room for relationships that uplift and inspire you. You attract opportunities that respect and honor your talents. But none of this can happen until you make the decision to stop wasting your resources on things that were never meant for you. So take a moment to reflect on where your time and energy are going. Are you spending them wisely? Are they being appreciated, or are they being taken for granted? If the answer is the latter, it's time to make a change. Choose yourself, your worth, and your growth. Your time is far too valuable to be wasted. Your sense of self-worth is the foundation upon which every aspect of your life is built. It determines how you see yourself, how you allow others to treat you, and the standards you set for your relationships, goals, and opportunities. Self-worth is not negotiable. It is not something that should depend on external validation or approval. The world may try to convince you otherwise, but your value does not diminish based on someone else's inability or unwillingness to see it. When you let others dictate your worth, you hand over your power. You become reliant on their opinions, their validation, and their recognition. It's like standing in front of a mirror that someone else controls, waiting for them to adjust the reflection so you can see yourself clearly. When you become aware of your own worst, develop strategies to control that. But here's the truth. No one else holds that power unless you give it to them. The only mirror that matters is the one you hold up to yourself. What do you see? That reflection should be one of confidence, value, and self-respect, no matter what anyone else says or does. One of the biggest mistakes people make is tying their self-worth to external achievements, relationships, or approval. It's easy to fall into this trap because society often rewards these things. We're taught to chase success, to seek acknowledgement, to measure our value based on what we have or who we're with. But what happens when the job is gone, when the applause fades, or when the relationship ends? Man, if your self-worth is rooted in these external factors, it crumbles. True self-worth, on the other hand, remains unshaken. It is rooted in who you are, not in what you have or what others think of you. To protect and nurture your self-worth, you must set boundaries. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about creating space where you are respected, valued, and appreciated. When you don't set boundaries, you send a message that others can treat you however they please. You open the door to being taken for granted, overlooked, or even mistreated. But when you establish clear boundaries, you show the world that you know your worth and that you will not tolerate anything less than respect. There's an important difference between humility and self-doubt. Being humble is knowing your strengths without arrogance, while self-doubt is questioning your worth despite your strengths. Don't confuse the two. There is nothing humble about downplaying your value or allowing others to dismiss it. True humility is being aware of your worth without needing to boast, while still refusing to let anyone diminish it. Your self-worth is also reflected in the choices you make. When you settle for less than you deserve, you send a message to yourself and to others that you're okay with mediocrity. But when you demand more, when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you elevate everything around you. You attract better opportunities, form healthier relationships, and achieve greater success. It's not about being entitled, it's about knowing you are deserving of respect, love, and fulfillment simply because you exist. Building a strong sense of self-worth takes practice. It requires self-awareness, self-compassion, and a willingness to stand up for yourself even when it's uncomfortable. It's about recognizing your unique qualities and embracing them fully. No one else in the world has your voice, your perspective, or your talents. That alone makes you invaluable. It's also important to remember that self-worth is not static. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when you feel rejected or overlooked, and when the world seems to challenge your value. In those moments, it's essential to remind yourself that your worth does not fluctuate based on circumstances. It is constant, unwavering, and intrinsic. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. You don't have to earn it or fight for it. It's already within you. The key is to recognize it, to honor it, and to live in a way that reflects it. Because when you know your worth, the world has no choice but to acknowledge it too. Letting go of what's not serving you is one of the most challenging yet liberating decisions you can make in life. We often hold on to people, situations, or habits that have outlived their purpose simply because we fear change, rejection, or the uncertainty that comes with letting go. But holding on to what doesn't serve you does nothing but drain your energy, cloud your mind, and keep you from stepping into your full potential. The world won't serve you better by refusing you. It's like carrying a heavy bag of stones on a journey where you need to climb a mountain. Completely unnecessary and entirely self-defeating. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everything is meant to stay in your life forever. Relationships, jobs, and circumstances often have seasons. Some things are meant to teach you lessons, and others are meant to help you grow. But when their purpose has been fulfilled, it's okay and necessary to let them go. Clinging to something that no longer serves you only creates stagnation, holding you back from the progress and opportunities waiting ahead.